Yo, what's going on, guys? And today I wanted to be talking about the fact that Mr. Jalen Hood-Schifino signed a two-way deal, according to Sean Sharani of ESPN, with the Philadelphia 76ers. I love this fit. First off, Nick Nurse, Daryl Morey. Nick Nurse is like a shooting coach prodigy. Nick Nurse's Nick Nurse pill literally improves shooting. Also, I am an incredible shooter now because of Nick Nurse, so I'm going to just always say that he's a great shooter because I've personally seen the results of his shooting training. And Jalen Hood-Schifino, coming out of college, was like a guy that had the tools to either be a guard or a wing. I personally think if they play their cards right, this could be the reclamation project that goes very well for them. And that's where I want to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think of this before we start today's video? Do you guys agree with me that this potentially could be a fantastic opportunity for either team? As I think if they play, or not either team, but either party. So let's basically lay it out. The Sixers were able to take a low risk, high reward gamble by bringing him on two-way contract. If it doesn't work, they can just get rid of him this offseason. This is a guy who was a former first-round pick, Indiana standout, and despite being waived by the Utah Jazz without playing a game, Hood-Schifino finds himself in a system under Nick Nurse, a coach known for developing talent. Given the Sixers' struggles this year, and they've just shut down Joel Embiid, this is a team that's the fourth worst in the NBA in points per game. Their three-point shooting was eighth worst, and Jalen Hood-Schifino's development path should align closely with Quinton Grimes, a player that's on this roster. A guy who's a swingman capable of playing both guard and wing position, rather than forcing him into this lead guard role. Jalen Hood-Schifino is allegedly close to 6'6". He's between 6'4" and 6'6". We're gonna go 6'5", 215 pounds. He has the physicality to make him an intriguing perimeter defender who could be a secondary ball handler rather than a traditional point guard. His ability to navigate the pick and roll situations offensively and defensively, combined with sometimes showing the defensive tenacity at the point of attack, will give him a decent foundation to build upon in Philadelphia. At Indiana, he displayed mid-range shooting at 42.3% on pull-up jumpers and was a guy who had the poise under pressure. And those are traits that if Nick Nurse can give him some structure offensively and he can maybe run some sets, it'll be something that could work. Yes, in his brief NBA stints with the Lakers, he shot 22% from the field, 13%, disregard those numbers. In the G League, though, 22 points per game, 5 assists per game, 47% from the field, 43% from three. With extended usage, he has the confidence to do stuff. And obviously, he's not going to be in this high usage ball handling role, which I don't think they need to force him into, where his limited burst and shaky handle may hinder him. I think Philadelphia should mold him into an off-ball wing with defensive versatility, similar to Quentin Grimes' development with the New York Knicks. Now, and also with the Mavericks, and even here now with the Sixers. Grimes transitioned from being this college lead guard in Kansas to being kind of like a little bit of a combo guard, defensive 3 and D wing at Houston, and then really did that with the Knicks. Didn't do it with the Pistons because he was hurt allegedly, and then with the Mavs, he was able to do it. And it was a move that maximized his strengths while mitigating his weaknesses. And similarly, I think Jalen Hood-Schifino's struggles as a primary creator, particularly in isolation shooting and rim finishing. He was a 46% field goal percentage at the rim in college, one of the worst among first-round picks. And I think that shows he's best suited as a complementary role. And if the Sixers can refine that three-point shooting, he was a 30% catch-and-shoot three-point shooter in college. He could develop into a reliable perimeter option, filling a void that this offense needs and could be a long-term cheap option. And he, with his size, being able to guard 1 through 3, makes him a fit in Nick Nurse's system, which values multi-positional defenders. And with the Sixers sitting at 20 and 38, focused on development, they have the luxury to experiment with Jalen Hood-Schifino's role without immediate pressure for results. And given that Jalen Hood-Schifino's signing represents an opportunity for the Sixers to take a measured approach in his development by transitioning him into a swingman role rather than the lead guard role, Philadelphia can emphasize his strengths in defensive awareness, pick and roll instincts, and stop his mid-range shooting while mitigating the weaknesses. So I think if he can follow that Quinton Grimes trajectory, he could carve out a very valuable role in the NBA as a guy who obviously lacks the elite burst and has struggled with efficiency at the NBA level, is going to be able to benefit from going to a system like Philadelphia where he'll be able to play off ball. He also is going to have like teammates that are going to allow him to, help create for him. I think obviously having Tyrese Maxey is going to be huge. I don't know how much Paul George is going to be there, but there is Paul George. So we talked about it. We've seen what he's been able to do. So focusing, I think, him being a two-way wing and one who can guard both backcourt and wing players while developing into an off-ball shooter will pay way more dividends, I think, long-term than if he stays at the guard position. I really don't think he's a guard. So to me, Quentin Grimes is a guy who's found his niche as this 3-and-D guy, and Jalen Hood-Schifino would be able to be better as his ball handling responsibilities would be reduced, and he's allowed to focus on just spacing the floor and playing tough perimeter defense. And the Sixers can follow that blueprint by simplifying his offensive role. Tell him, look, just work on catch and shoots, develop into a league average shooter from deep. And with Tyrese Maxey and Kelly Oubre Jr. as the primary scorers right now, and Paul George as well, the Sixers need more defensive-minded wings and guys who have the ability to guard 1 through 3, and that would make him an asset for Nick Nurse. Like Grimes, Jalen Hood-Schifino needs to focus on relocating for open threes and cutting to the basket rather than trying to create it off the dribble. So we mentioned it before, at 20 and 38, the Sixers have nothing to lose by giving Hood-Schifino a real developmental opportunity. While his NBA career has started slowly, he's played well in the G League, and his defensive instincts and IQ suggest that there could be some untapped potential. So if the Sixers can improve his three-point shot and transition him into a two-way wing, he could become a valuable player following what I've said repeatedly, a valuable wing like Quentin Grimes rather than a struggling lead guard. So for a team in the need for defensive depth and shooting, this is a really good opportunity for the Sixers that could pay off in the long run. So yeah, that's going to basically be my thoughts on that. I want to hear your guys' opinions. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree with me? And if not, why? I'm curious because the NBA is always changing. So take care. Bye.